Hello, gentle viewers. This is Guardian, welcoming you back to Out of the Park Baseball 26 with the Chicago White Sox. First of all, a big congratulations to Carlos Beltran and Andrew Jones, who joined Jeff Kent as the 2026 class of the Hall of Fame. Look, if I had a Hall of Fame vote, I probably would have voted for Beltran. I know I would have voted for Beltran. Andrew Jones has the domestic violence thing, which gives me pause. But I think purely based on numbers, I think both are highly worthy. Let's review their stats, shall we? Let's start with good old Carlos Beltran. 71 WAR is really good. And that's actually very, very good. If you take a look at these Hall of Fame metrics here, he doesn't look necessarily like an automatic Hall of Famer. That's because he doesn't have the award history that you would ideally want. Yes, he won Rookie of the Year, he won the Slow Sluggers on Gold Gloves, but he was never a top 3 finisher in MVP. But what he did do was actually incredible. For a guy to steal as many bases as he did, 312 with an 86.4% success rate, is massive. He had a large number of home runs, 2,700 hits, generally considered a great defender. He was really good for a very long time. And I think that speaks well to him. Yes, there's the whole Astros thing. I'm not going to bury that by any stretch of the imagination, because it shouldn't be. He helped them cheat. And yes, he probably didn't get in trouble for it. I mean, he did lose his job. He's going to be a manager. But I get it, right? Like, I get what people will be upset about him. And cheating at baseball is pretty bad, but I don't think it's the worst possible thing. And I think the Hall of Fame, he belongs there. Especially as an editor, so I read Jason Stark's column about it. We haven't been inducting center fielders very much recently. And if you're going to induct a center fielder, Beltran is really high up that list for me. Let's talk about Andrew Jones, because his story is a bit less obvious. The Curacao kid, I don't know if anyone ever called him that, but here's a problem with Andrew Jones. From age 19 to age 29, he was phenomenal. One of the best in the league. Never much of a base runner, but a really good power bat who combined that with fantastic defense. Probably, hell, there's no probably about it. One of the best defenders at center field ever. Really incredible. But then his career went utterly tits up. And for a lot of people, this is a huge deal. If you look at his, because of injuries, by the way, if you look at his counting stats, 1,900 hits is not that impressive. His 254 batting average is, I think, the lowest in the Hall of Fame now. If it's not, it's really close. But he had loads of power and excellent defense. And so I think for that reason, if I had a Hall of Fame vote, because actually I used to do this every year. Every year I would sit down and look at the Hall of Fame ballot and decide who I might have voted for. I'm still not convinced Andrew Jones gets all the way there for me. His peak was really, really good. But he never really drew walks, which hurt him. Some years are better than others, obviously, but I guess his ability to take a walk is reasonable. It's maybe not perfect, but I guess it's fine. I don't know. Like, I don't look at this overall career and automatically think this is a Hall of Famer. I get why he is, because his peak was pretty good, and he played for a team that won the World Series. Actually, no, check that, because he wasn't with the Braves and they won the World Series. That was after he joined their team. I don't know. Like, how would I do? Why would I say I don't like him as a Hall of Famer? I get the peak argument, but I think you have to have some level of longevity to be a Hall of Famer. And the fact that his career utterly vanished through no fault of his own gives me a lot of pause. Gives me a lot of pause. I won't say the Hall of Fame is worse because he's in it, but I will say that absent, how do I want to phrase this? I probably would not have voted for him early on in his Hall of Fame ballot thing. I think the fact he lasted as long as he did, and enough people appreciate his career, means I'm fine that he's in the Hall of Fame. But I don't think his case is a slam dunk because Carlos Beltran's is. Because Carlos Beltran was pretty great for a long time. Much better base stealer. Although, admittedly, some of those probably the injuries. Like, watch how dramatically his stolen bases disappear starting at the age 24 season. And then there's the domestic violence thing. I've gone on record saying I don't care if people did steroids. I'd vote for them either way. If you want to be the person that draws that bright line where they're like, no, hard no, because you tested positive, like Alex Rodriguez and Manny Ramirez, Robinson Cano, I respect that take. But deliberately harming somebody that you should be protecting, you should be looking after, is disgusting to me. And that would make it difficult for me to vote for him from a moral perspective. Looking at the numbers, I think he's a borderline Hall of Famer. And it's mostly because he didn't have the length of career that he really needed to have to be an automatic yes for me. His defense is why he's in the Hall of Fame, plus his power when he was younger. 51 home runs is pretty ridiculous. Look at this isolated slugging percentage. That's insane. That's truly insane. But his career on base percentage isn't that great. A lot of power, great defense, good peak. But I find it personally unforgivable that you would do that to somebody that you love. And in case you know what I'm talking about, I'm going to quickly see what happened here. I don't recall whether he was actually officially charged, but he was definitely arrested on charges of domestic assault back in 2012. Toward the end of his career, in fact. Now, I don't actually know what ended up happening in that case. And I guess he eventually, like, he felt bad about it. He maybe did try to make some sort of amends for it. I guess that counts for something. But let's see what happened. Interesting. I guess she eventually, like, withdrew the charges. Well, it's still not great. It's still a really bad look, and that's why I wouldn't be able to vote for him, personally. But the career is whatever. Let's talk about Jeff Kent. Now, Jeff Kent was a surly dickhead. I don't think anyone would dispute that. But because he was a second baseman, he wasn't a great second baseman. He was an okay second baseman. But at the time he retired, he had the most home runs in history for a second baseman, and he at least played the position well enough that he didn't get kicked out of it. 63 WARs is very respectable. He got an MVP award, and I want to say he finished like second or third once too, maybe. Multi-time Silver Slugger, great hitter. I mean, this makes me sad, but that's neither here nor there. great hitter, okay defender. Not a slam dunk Hall of Famer for me either, although I like Jeff Kent more than some people did. I mean, at his peak, he was fucking ridiculous. Like, look at this shit. Unbelievable. Yeah, he went from the Mets to Cleveland in the Carlos Baerga trade, and then they traded him for Matt Williams, who was admittedly pretty good for them for a couple of years, but they should have just kept Kent. Well, I mean, they ended up with Robbie Alomar playing second base, so another giant asshole that I obviously is a very clear Hall of Famer, but not a nice person either. So, yeah, for me, I think Kent definitely deserves it. But he's not a slam dunk either. If he had never made the Hall of Fame, which he wasn't going to before the Veterans Committee stepped in, there's too many players that I would rate higher than him that aren't in the Hall of Fame. Lou Whitaker, Bobby Grich. We're just talking second baseman. Those two should have gone in long before even Jeff Kent's name was even considered. I know we're getting on pretty badly sidetracked, but Lou Whitaker was really good. Really, really good. Tremendous hitter, good defender, basically complete second baseman. He had some off years, and Jeff Kent's peak was definitely higher, but Jeff Kent also played in an era with more offense in it, whereas Lou Whitaker did not. Plus, look at all them walks. Amazing. Or Bobby Grich, formerly of the Angles. Same kind of play. Actually, Bobby Grich and Lou Whitaker have a lot in common, and I think both of them should be in the Hall of Fame. In Bobby Grich's case, only 1,800 hits was hard for people to swallow. A lot of value came from walks. We talked about that before. Excuse me. And when most of the players' value comes from walks, it's really hard for voters to get past that. Which is why I think Joey Votto might be doomed. As much as I love Joey Votto, and I do love Joey Votto, but that's why I have a hard time saying Jeff Kent is a definite Hall of Famer. I think he's very, very good, but I think guys like Grich and Whitaker should have made it in first. Especially considering the eras in which they played. I think is very, very important. But Jeff Kent is fine. By the numbers, the Hall of Fame is not cheapened by adding Jeff Kent, Andrew Jones, or Carlos Beltran. I think Carlos Beltran is the only one that I think is a definite, no doubt Hall of Famer. Then I would probably put Jones ahead of Kent, purely because while Kent was an indifferent second baseman, Jones was a fantastic center fielder. Like, really, really incredibly good at it. And so I think that pushes him over Kent for me. Even though Kent should get a lot of credit for at least sticking in second base. Even if he wasn't great at it, he was still reasonably good. So anyway, now that I've talked you off for 15 minutes, let's talk about this game. Okay? I'm probably trying to avoid the fact that we got bounced out of the postseason in record time last year. If I remember correctly, we lost in the second round. We lost in the second round. This I think was our year, but oh well. We can worry about that now. So last episode, really good season, despite some players not playing their very best. Herb Berry was useful, but not outstanding. And I think we're going to start paying for the downside of his career quite heavily. Which is what it is, right? Danny Rios is here. Danny Rios is another guy that isn't what he used to be. But Orlando Murguía definitely is the kind of guy we've been looking for. He's the kind of dude that we're into. Alex Gonzalez is phenomenal. He's going to win the Cy Young Award, I have no doubt. And he was just incredible in every sense of the word. every sense of the word. No wonder that the owner wants to give him a long-term extension. I want to do that too, but I want to make sure that we're not hamstringing ourselves if we spend too much money on him. Really good bullpen last season, just a really good team. Even if the offense wasn't quite there, the defense was. But we want to get better if we can, obviously. Definitely want to get better. Edwin Hernandez was also quite disappointing. Well, most of that's because he got hurt. So what do you want to do this episode? What do we want to make some upgrades? Abel's arm was great. Really, really good. We did start shopping to start swapping out some of the older position players. We've got outfield candidates for days. Between Sam Friels, Raul Ramirez, and Victor Villarreal, I think we've got some decent outfield options. I just don't know that any of them are fantastic. Edwin Peralta's still here. We could really use him breaking out in the very near future. I think would make me quite happy. Ambroise Chilo didn't have a great season, but he did okay. Carlos Geronimo has been quite effective, but we could potentially upgrade at second base. I think most upgrades are going to come from just players playing better. Alex Madrid is what he is. He's a tremendous defender that steals bases well and hits like shit. That's fine. I'm not going to ignore that. But Denny Rios is probably the most replaceable guy here. I want to show you all something as we think about this. I am so angry that this keeps happening. Give me a new view of this. I would like miscellaneous info. Transaction type, transaction date. And then draft round pick. This is how we acquired all these guys here. I'm going to say this is acquisition view because it's one of my favorite views to have because I can quickly take stock of where this team came from. But what I really want to talk about on the screen is this. We have 3 regulars all over the age of 30. And it is no coincidence that all 3 of them had difficult years last year. One reason or the other. Holy shit, he's 6'9", and Winter Hernandez is gigantic. Anyway, they're also making by far the majority of my money. And we're stuck with them more for several years. Especially Hernandez. T-Rose is actually a capable leadoff guy. Maybe. Maybe. That's what I find difficult. Like, there's arguments to be made for all 3 of these guys sticking around a while longer. And I don't have an obvious solution, right? Like, I don't have an obvious player that is desperately ready for an opportunity. Villarreal, maybe. But he had his chance last season, and he kind of blew it. He kind of blew it hard. Mike Cole is really good. Well, before we get too deep into this, so just have some thoughts percolating into my brain for now. Coaching is all set. Let's set up our player development. And then we can talk about how we're going to deal with the money aspect of this season. Jerkovsky, I would love for you to work on your What an incredible year in A ball. You need to be pushed up to double A, like, immediately. Because you're really, really good. You're actually fantastic. Jerkovsky is honestly somebody, despite his hilarious name, is someone I would love, 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 love to be in the major leagues sooner rather than later. My friend, work on your plate discipline. I think making you a bigger on base guy is going to pay huge dividends down the line here. Well, your on base range actually has been fantastic. I'm also going to very quickly promote you to double A. And I'm going to control your, where you go. Because you obliterated A ball. You're only 20 years old. You need to be in double A. You need to be pushing yourself so you can get better. Mike Cole, it's control. My good pal Elrod here, if he does develop control, he's going to be in the major leagues very rapidly. But we need a little bit more out of him than we've gotten so far. Let's look at our active roster. Edwin Peralta. I need you to start hitting for power. So let's have you work on that. Generate some bat speed, yo. I want Jeff Allen to have a bigger role on this team this year. Definitely. I'm going to have you work on your control. Sorry, it's not terribly thrilling, but it's what has to happen. Jose Marrero, I mean, let's have you work on hitting for contact. I don't love your chances, but we can try it. Let's go back to the prospects. Prospectors. Chris Crichton is legit, but I think he just needs time. And I don't know if there's anything that I want him to work on. There's something obvious, right? I would try an experiment with John Burns. I want you to work on defense. If you can become a better center fielder, then I think you look even better. Jude, work on control. Giovanni Mazzafiato. Let's get that power cooking. Let's at least try it, right? That's not all sorted here. Arbitration time. Okay. Alex Gonzalez 100% is getting an extension. I would love for this to be a long-term extension. I don't think I can probably afford it. I need protection. If I'm going to offer you this much money, I need protection out of it. But the owner wants me to sign you. I want to sign you. You're coming off of a fantastic season. This isn't amazing. We're paying super premium prices for what I think is a super premium pitcher. But I think this has to happen. I think it has to happen. Terry Maton has definitely earned himself his relatively minor raise. That doesn't concern me. Is John Crank somehow arbitration eligible? No, it's Timothy Lawman. I think he's fine. I think he really came in as a pretty decent pitcher for us, and I think we could get more out of him. Let's make that a thing. Let's bring him back for another year. Not guaranteeing you the closer's role, though. But I will pay you $4.4 million to stick around. What about James Harrington? I think for what he is a useful player to have around. I don't have an obvious catcher that's ready for more playing time. Willie Vasquez is still quite a ways away from the majors. And I think just letting him repeat in AAA is probably going to pay pretty good dividends for us. So I think, at least for right now, I think we keep him. And I think it's not a terribly difficult choice either. Especially for... He wants a longer-term deal. I'm not prepared to give him that. We'll talk 1 year. That's actually a very reasonable deal, by the way. It's not like it's a bad one. It's more the fact that I don't trust him being useful in a long-term capacity. What about Carlos Geronimo? A 7-year deal. What does it look like for you? That's too much money. I'm not going to do that. I will offer you $3.7 million. No? You want more money? Fine. Jose Morero is such an interesting case study. Like, there is still obviously a lot of upside to him. And I want him to try to reach that. But also the guy's had almost 1,000 plate appearances for me, and he has not impressed even a little bit. So maybe Jose Morero finding a new club is what's best for everybody. Like, this is not, oh, he only got a little bit of playing time. No, this is a guy that got lots of playing time and did nothing with it. He just strikes out too much. He doesn't put the ball in play. And while he's got some skills, if he's not able to make contact with the ball, those skills will never appear. So I'm going to go ahead and wish you a fond farewell, Jose Morero. Didn't have to be batters, actually. If I do prospect package, what does that look like? Mark Eberhard is fine. Phil Duckett is acceptable. I think this is the best we can get. This is the best we can get. I don't think I'm going to get a genuinely interesting prospect without a lot of luck. Yeah. I think this is probably acceptable. I think this is probably fine. I think we just take it. I think nickeling and diming them to get one more prospect is going to likely make them not want to trade with us. So I think we just take this. Can I get Elias Jacques, actually? Can I ask for that? I like Jacques because he's got top-tier power. That's pretty exciting. And then we're going to complete the trade. Yeah, Morero just isn't there. He's never going to be there. If I am wrong, I will accept it, but a guy that's 26 years old and has never even been replacement level is not the kind of guy that I'm excited about, right? We do need to address the elephant in the room that we're going to need some relievers. That's probably going to be something we fill through free agency. I feel pretty strongly that we're going to be able to get some good ones. I wanted to make room for Jeff Allen, which is why Steve Birdsey is on this way out. I don't think he did poorly for us by any stretch of the imagination. I thought he was actually quite good. But I needed youth to be served. Same with John Crank, same with Jose Garzon. Jose Garzon was actually really, really good for us for a couple seasons. And Bo Kloiber. So this is going to take time to remake this bullpen, but I think at the end of the day, we're gonna be happy about that. Did I just see someone had 3 wins? Yes, Patrick Bowen. I offer you a minor league deal. So yeah, I'm willing to spend a little bit of money on the bullpen, although I don't have a ton of money to spend. But I think it's appropriate that we invest in the bullpen a bit. Guys like Tanner Lee, Modafi Alcala, these are guys I don't necessarily trust. John Bond is in that same boat. Jim Gornflow is alive. I have 3 40-man spots available to me. Ochoa is not that good. I think we keep Hidalgo. Do I want to keep Pablo Cardenas? I think nobody else except maybe Perez gets taken, so I'm going to add Perez. And then we'll just kind of see how the rest of this sorts out. I could wave like a Gabe Arsenault. I guess that's fine. I suppose that's acceptable. Well, I guess I should actually just release his free agents, right? That's correct. Birdsey, and who's the other guy? I guess John Crank was an asshole. That's fine. This lets me keep. Do I want to keep Hardlander? If he stays, he stays, but I'm not heartbroken if he leaves. I think Behrman is someone I'm more interested in keeping just because he's got a bit more positional flexibility. And then I think I want to keep Cardenas. I think having him as an option if somebody gets hurt is really useful because he's fairly accomplished and he has the ability to actually pitch right now. Although he's not a flawless pitcher either. Carl Moody, meh. Guillermo Arredondo is decent, I guess. Maybe I don't actually care that much. Like, a lot of Cardenas looks really, really good, then you look at his control, and Res is still a 35, and you have concerns. But maybe it's better to have someone a bit more Major League ready in case there's an injury. That's probably smart. Let us now advance time a bit. The fans like Carlos Geronimo, that's fun. Alex Gonzalez got his contract. The fans are super jazzed about it. I'm super jazzed about it. The owner is super jazzed about it. You want a power hitter? I don't necessarily disagree, but I don't know where that's going to come from or even what position I'd want to get him at. A gold glove for Andrew Peacock. Is that his third or fourth gold glove? Yes, his third. Do I trade Danny Rios at this point? Is that where we're leaning? Because I've got enough interesting power guys like Willis Hidalgo and Elias Jaquez that maybe there's a Danny Rios replacement already on the roster. What kind of deal could I make for this? Understandable. I don't know why I even asked. You have a no trade clause, I bet. Yep. 10-5 rights. Noted. Noted. Herb Berry definitely has 10-5, and I'm sure Edwin Hernandez does also. So I'm stuck with all three of them is the takeaway. We just have to hope that they play better. Doesn't feel amazing, but I guess that's where we are right now. So yeah, so Jeff Allen is definitely getting the fifth rotation spot. 100%. You're frustrated. Just do better, five head. You almost unanimous. Brian Dawson, you're a punk ass bitch. Yes, you led the league in wins, but that's not good enough. Should have even gotten a single vote. My opinion. At least for the next couple of years, his contract is very, very reasonable, and then it becomes somewhat burdensome if he doesn't perform at a high level. But I'll take it for right now. Absolutely take it for right now. All right. I have $24 million to spend. A lot of this is going to be going towards bullpen guys, I think. Yeah, like Jimmy Dixon is not going to be joining us. He'd be a fantastic addition, don't get me wrong. I don't got that kind of money. I just don't. We could have Mike Rossini, though. That's kind of a fun little offer. Alright, I would like all pitchers, please. John Navarre is somewhat injury prone, but he's been an effective pitcher when he's been healthy. I'm willing to make that offer. I don't know why I just tried to, like, cut him or something. Alright. Pat Rom seems like a really good fit. He's a very reasonable price. Not going to make you the closer, but I will add you to my bullpen. You really want to be a closer? Then you'll have to go somewhere else. Vince Turner could be quite good, actually. I would give you a 3-year deal with even a couple of team options, actually. I think you have that much potential to be a reliable reliever. So we'll do that. And I think this is good enough. I think getting 2 relievers to shore up the bullpen is useful. And then this way I can also try to I can also try to see what I've got in some other of my pitchers here. I would like to trade for relievers, actually, but I don't think we're there yet. Don't think we're there yet. Didn't I draft like a really high-rated reliever? No, evidently I didn't. Okay. We do get Adam Wiley back sometime next season, so the rotation's going to be Gonzalez, Picar, Sato, Wiley, and Allen, which would be pretty good, I think. I think it's going to be a really good rotation. Anything else that I want? Um, this order we get better at center field. Villarreal can't play center, can he? No, he definitely cannot play center. Zarn can sort of play center, so I guess that's a path we could take. If we really think Josh Cox is nothing to write home about, we could try to get a better center fielder. Let's at least explore that possibility here. What do we got at center field? What do we have with somebody that can actually play center field? It's Chris Hernandez. We could bring him back if we wanted, which I don't. Reinhard von Weingarten. Yeah. Look, maybe the answer is we just bring Villarreal back and shift Zarn over to play center. Or Peralta could try center. Peralta's actually very good at center field. Maybe this is his path to playing time, right? Maybe we let Cox have a little bit less playing time. Like, I'm not upset with how he's performed, but I do want to try to get more young players more playing time. I wish we could get rid of Danny Rios. Here's the biggest problem, right? The earliest I can get rid of either Rios or Barry is 2049. So that's 2 more full seasons of having to pay them. It's going to be a bit yikes. Yeah. It's not an amazing look, for sure. I still got some really good relievers. I'm not that upset if we have to spend a little bit of money to get us some extra people, but I feel pretty good about it. I feel really good about Alex Gonzalez. That's a good start. Oh, I got actually Adam Wiley. That's fine. That's a good start. David Godella is a really good pitcher, but I want to give Jeff Allen a shot. I definitely don't want to pay for him, and I don't want to give up a quality prospect like Marty Fridley for you. So I don't think so. Bobadilla is still bouncing around the league. Amazing. Alex Hubbard is hanging out. Who's the one? Oh, Espinoza. Yeah. I've had a lot of bad luck with catchers, haven't I? I truly have. I'm going to vote for Fernando Cruz and Dan the Plumber Dillon because that name is fantastic. Dave the Plumber Dillon. Sorry. I'll vote for Judas Zeal. I'll vote for James Wood. Yoel Roque. I'm on board with that. Julio Rodriguez. I am genuinely shocked he's not getting more traction. I think in OTP 27, they need to make sure that the Hall of Fame standards are relative to the era in which the people are playing, and not just, oh, well, Julio Rodriguez would never have made the Hall of Fame back in the past. He probably wouldn't have. But somebody's got to make it, right? Like, somebody's got to be in the Hall of Fame. So don't be so fucking picky about it. I'll vote for Juan Flores and Kendall George. I'm just a loving kind of guy. I just vote for everybody. Vote for Ben Brown too. I'll vote for former White Sox Oscar Balboa. That's kind of fun. And we'll submit the ballot. David Godella is a really good pitcher. But there is an incredibly huge amount of risk here. And I don't think we need him. I know that my manager is my assistant GM is like, fuck yeah, let's snap him up. That's just not me. I don't feel the same sense of urgency. Well, fuck you, Burns. Have you considered learning how to play the game better? Willie Vasquez could definitely use some love. Let's get him working on his power. Oh, right. I completely forgot that we traded, what's his face? So we have an extra spot now. Chris Crichton, you can work on your contact. That's what you can do. Give me 1 second, friends, and I will return. Sorry about that. I had to help bring in groceries. So, here we are. We're baseballing. It's fine. If we get both of our relievers, I think the bullpen is going to be pretty good, and I don't think we need to mess with it. John Navarre wants more money. I'm willing to pay him a little bit more money. I think 3.2 million is perfectly fine. Vince Turner's kind of into it. Man, I never get good draft picks. I mean, I did win 93 games, so I guess I can't complain. Why is Navarre being so weird about this shit? I think 3.8 is as high as I'm willing to go for one reliever. I'm sure I can probably find somebody that's a better bargain. If he's gonna be a dick about it. This is completely realistic. I'm perfectly happy with that. I don't want to sign Chicago. I want to sign with Chicago. Yeah, okay, buddy. Dude. I'm not paying you $4.4 million when you've barely pitched the last 3 years. Just stop being stupid, okay? I'm not going to pay you anymore. You're clearly using me as a way to get more money, and while I respect the hustle, it's not going to come from me. Never did actually properly consider center fielders, but I think I'm fine with what we've got. McIntyre's a little old for my taste. Carlos Chavez seems like a terrible risk. I could probably get Randy Seacrest quite cheap, although he's not very good. I can talk to Pat Rom again and see if he's willing to take not the closer. No, he really wants to be the closer. That's fine. Mark McIntyre is pretty good. As long as it's a 1-year deal, I'd rather pay a bit of a premium. Can I get you to not be the closer? No, you're pretty insistent on that. Then I'm not going to bother. I'll grab me a reliever in the Rule 5. Who did Garzone sign with? You got $15 million a year to be an average starting pitcher. Wow. I mean, hats off to you. I would never have paid you this much money. That's banana. Oh no, the jerk off is frustrated. John Navarre went to San Francisco for his $4 million. Yeah. Pat Rom signed with Baltimore. He didn't actually want that much money. He just wanted to be promised the closer's role, and I wasn't willing to do that. Rule 5 draft. I've got 2 spots open. I really want to grab a reliever if I can. Jonathan Ledesma is the exact kind of reliever that I can get excited about. Let's make it happen. Oscar Olive, I think it's a bit too much of a risk. If I knew it was going to come back healthy, I would do it pretty quickly. Bobby Ling's control is terrible. Maybe I do actually want Oscar Olive. Harley Miller's okay. Pretty far away from being a useful pitcher, though. He'll be back by opening day. Maybe Olive is the correct choice. Let's try it. I don't think that's acceptable for me. I don't think there's anything else I'm interested in, so I'm going to go ahead and complete the draft. Alex Suarez is probably was never going to be a great fit. Okay, Giants, back the fuck off, man. You already got one reliever off of me. Just stop, okay? Just don't be that guy. Oh, dip. You know what? I didn't check. Okay, January 15th. Okay. Voting results. Ben Brown made the Hall of Fame. Nobody else did. That's fine. Ming Zhou. I remember you. You were pretty good. Turner, can you stop being a bitch? I'm trying to give you 3 fucking years, and like you're constantly like, oh, I can make more money somewhere else. No, I'm not a. I don't. I'm not opposed to Ryan Courtner, but I'm not going to give up Ryan Grammer, who actually had a really good season for me and as a outfielder. So yeah, that's not going to happen. No thanks. I'm also perfectly fine with Herb Berry being my third baseman again. Like he did a pretty good job, all things considered. Oh my god. Who am I even fighting with? Like, why are you being so weird about this? Vince, my man, I know you just made $11 million with the Cardinals because they were drunk and stupid, but that's no way to go through life. I really want to win another World Series with this bunch. Really, really do. You're very clearly just using me to run up your price. You have guarantees on it. This is my take it or leave it offer. I am not going to sit here fighting over and over and over again. We're just going to keep asking for more money. Chris Hernandez got a 1-year deal with Philly. That's kind of neat. Happy for him. I could really use a great relief prospect. Carlos Herrera is probably not a fucking knuckleballer. I mean, here's the thing. This is incredibly stupid, but I'm not capable of resisting this. I will happily give you the full 5.5 million. This is very stupid. Don't do what I'm doing. But when you can get an elite knuckleballer, you have to take it, right? Create a new shortlist. We're going to do IAFAs. If you sign with me, I'm going to throw you on to that shortlist right away. Turner finally took the deal. Goddamn right she did. Oh, I've got to make room on the 40 man. Does anybody really care about Gabe Arsenault? I know I don't. Kins Werner. How the fuck did you sprain your ankle in the off season? Slipped on a wet floor. Fine. Chance Livingston got $35 million a year. I will never understand how this game values closers the way that it does. It's ridiculous. Gabe Arsenault cleared waivers. Give me a new minor league system, please. Poor Price, whoever that is, he's not going to come back. I hope as you're watching this video that you stay warm this weekend. It's supposed to be quite cold across most of the country, including here in Houston. So bring your pets in. Put a faucet sock on so you don't freeze your pipes. Do all that good stuff. Do all of it. And take care of each other. Also, don't be the asshole who goes into a fucking grocery store and buys like 26 packages of toilet paper, or like 18 rolls of bread, 18 loaves of bread. Like, this is not the end of Western civilization. It's a cold front. Please act accordingly. And don't be fucking weird. Mike Cole. Rossini can get some spring training reps. So can Ochoa. I think this is probably fine. I don't really feel any particular need to make any other changes here. So let's pitch in where we run a 6-man rotation. It's exactly correct. I think we can probably take the pitch count off. Alex Gonzalez, he's had 3 consecutive seasons of more than 190 innings. And then you can do however you want to do this here. Why are we playing Raul Ramirez when he's a terrible center fielder? I don't know. I'm not going to accept it. No, get Peralta in there. Yeah, if you don't want to play Cox, that's fine, but you're going to play Peralta, not Raul Ramirez, who actually can't play center field that well. And then we'll see how all this shakes out. Why is Hugo Gonzalez playing shortstop over Alex Madrid? Stop. Cease thy silliness. I don't mind rapidly switching people out. That's kind of the point of spring training, so that doesn't bother me. But Madrid should definitely be starting at shortstop. All right. Let's see how this works. Oh, what's his name? Sorry, if you thought I forgot about you, I didn't. Okay, I did forget about you till right this second, but I do remember that we had a comment on the last video. Which was our old friend Inside World 422, who says we should probably move Murguia over to left field instead of right field. I know Murguia doesn't have a great arm, but he's honestly a pretty bad outfielder no matter where you put him. So I think leaving him where he is right now is fine, and then we can maybe think about moving to first base or even designated hitter down the line. Because it's certainly a better outfielder than Rios. So I get what you'd say. Oh, I know what it said I was going to check here. Right field is slightly larger, but it's not appreciably larger, so it doesn't really matter. I guess he could probably pick up left field relatively quickly if we wanted him to do that. Eh. I'm just going to leave it. I think the... Ooh, Mike Cole's control's gotten better. That's very tasty. Nice. Let's simulate to the end of March. Ponce is going to miss 3 weeks. That's not great timing for you. Well, also, I'm stuck with Ponce. I didn't even realize he's out of options already. That's funny. That's really funny. Villarreal's gonna miss 6 weeks. Bummer. Wiley's not getting back for a while, so we need to have someone in mind to start if Wiley is not ready to recover. I don't know that about Michael Foray. Or for it? Either way. Either way. Gorenflo got a little better. Olive got a little bit worse. Cole's control is better. Not good enough to make the Major League roster, but it's better, which I appreciate. It is not going to take much for Edwin Peralta to get genuine playing time. I just need him to hit. Let's play up until March 16th, and then we'll make some decisions about the opening day roster. An undisclosed injury takes you out for 3 months? That's really sus, guys. He was gardening and injured himself for 3 months. Brother. Please. Like, you had a chance to possibly make the opening day roster. It wasn't very likely, but it could have happened. How fucking hurt is Sato? Oh, Lord. 6 weeks. This is not a great opening to our season, my friends. We have 2 of my opening day starters are injured, which means we kind of have to start Alex Alvarado and Jeff Allen, which doesn't fill me with a lot of hope. What else even is there that could start for me? Well, let's first figure out how many pitchers we have. We have 18 pitchers. We do not need 18 pitchers by any stretch of the imagination. We need to. This is where you have 27-man rosters, right? Yeah. Okay. We're gonna rock 13 pitchers. That's the correct number. So 5 pitchers have got to go. Edmonds can leave. Gorenflo can leave. Harrison can definitely leave. I really don't want to keep Ponce. I don't think Ponce is good enough. I can demote Terry Lee. Cardenas is not going to be a very good pitcher. I'm sorry, he just isn't. 13 pitchers are ready to go here. Olive, you're going to be a starter because I literally have no better choice right now. My rotation used to be a strength. Now it's just, oh god, I hope it doesn't get any worse. This is a perfectly fine distribution of pitchers. This doesn't bother me at all. Ponce's got the chance to be a starter, actually. I'm going to make you my emergency starter, Ponce. I think that's that's an important role here. And I think Ledesma avoiding high leverage makes sense to me until he gets a little bit more experience. I'm going to quickly check the free agent market and see if there happens to be any starters hanging out. that are willing to take a contract. Are there any veteran starting pitchers that just want an opportunity? Only ones that are badly hurt, and our Jesus or our Jose Nunez, who's not interesting to me. I'll just spend a bunch of money on this guy, right? Because he's gonna get replaced as soon as practicable. I could grab Omar Andrade, I guess. I think he'd be fine. What if I gave you a $1.6 million contract? That way, if it turns out you suck, I can just cut you. I'm going to simulate another day. I just want to see if he signs right away. He's thinking about it. Alright. Lineup time. Oh god, Olive sucks really bad. I'm going to work with it for right now, but this is... No. No. We're going to start Ponce instead. It's 6-1, half dozen of the other, but at least Ponce has some upside to him. Even though I think he's not necessarily an amazing starting pitcher, I think he's got something to offer us, so I'm a bit more likely to give him a shot. Vince Turner is not great against righties, so I guess making him a utility guy is the right move here. Okay, I'm gonna go to 10 position players. Let's go. Hidalgo, Perez, Rossini, all go back to the minors. Behrman to the minors. Magnuson to the minors. Danny Ramirez to the minors. Danny Ramirez is a first baseman. He is not a shortstop. Hugo Gonzalez is a shortstop. Villarreal's going to miss 2 weeks, and I wasn't sure he was going to make the roster anyway. Don't know. When I tell you send him to AAA, send him to AAA. Game. Fine. I can demote you when you get back. Ochoa's going to the minors. He's never going to make this roster. I think we just give Peralta the ball and let Cox hang out as a backup, and then Raul Ramirez returns to the minors. This is the correct decision here. I think I probably want to move Geronimo up the lineup a little bit, but also maybe not. Maybe we're fine where we are. Just let Edwin Peralta figure it out. Like, let me be realistic with you. If Peralta does, he's only 23 years old. If he does have a great season, I think this team's future looks incredibly bright. I think it does. Let me reset the depth chart, please. This is all totally fine with me. I don't know why we would be giving Geronimo reps at shortstop, though. That seems pointless. That seems more than pointless. That seems stupid. Letting Sheila play second base every few games actually makes sense to me. That doesn't bother me, but this lineup, guys, I don't know. There's a lot to like about it. I think we've got a lot of really good power in a way that we haven't had it in a while. We take a look at batting ratings, so you just sort by power. We've got multiple guys with 50 plus power, which is pretty hype. James Harrington's got some power on him too. Do I want to commit to Harrington? Something that interests me. This is a very reasonable deal for a catcher. If I thought he was going to be like a 3-win catcher, I think as a 1.5 win, it's maybe a bit too rich for my blood. Yeah. I think we are rapidly approaching the transition of Danny Rios from home run guy to purely on base guy that steals bases. I'm kind of here for it. You've stolen a lot of bases, my friend. 311 is a lot of steals. Herberry, you're pretty good. I'd love it. So right now, what's our big goal this season? It's to see a bounce back from our most reliable players. We're basically hoping to hit the fountain of youth and see Edwin Hernandez, Herb Berry, and Danny Rios all have great seasons. Well, we did get Omar Andrade. That's really important. Because now I don't have to feel obligated to keep Olive. So let's say goodbye to you, my friend. I would have much rather Omar Andrade start because he does have this track record, and then let Ponce be the emergency starter that also pitches in long relief. I want Ponce getting regular pitching time. I think that's important to his development, but I don't necessarily want to trust him to start yet, especially when his control isn't very good. So hopefully Andrade gives us a more reliable starting pitcher that we can just rely upon until some of our injured guys return. Because the real starting pitchers are going to be Sato and eventually Adam Wiley. Like, that's how this all shakes out. But at least for the short term, I like having a bit more reliability here. We have too many low control guys. This concerns me a little bit. Alcala, I think this is his last chance to show that he's got something to offer in the major leagues. And if he doesn't, then we'll say goodbye to him and not cry about it. So yeah, I mean, this is basically last year's roster with Edwin Peralta starting in center field. That could be really big. We could see him have a great season, and then all the rest of this looks even better. But we're really expecting people that had bad years to just bounce back, right? Like that's where that's how this team actually gets better. It's Murguia building on his rookie campaign. Where did you finish, by the way? You weren't even in, like, the top... Oh, you finished in second. That makes sense. That makes sense. You had a really good season. But, yeah. Tchaikovsky. Oh, my God. I will say for Geronimo, if he wants to have a role on this team going forward, he's got to impress me this year. League average offense and slightly above average defense is fine. But if Tchaikovsky improves the way that we think he might, it's going to be almost impossible for me to keep him in the minors. He's just that good from top to bottom. He could easily handle shortstop. He'd be an amazing third baseman. Tchaikovsky can do it all. We just need him to show that he can handle more difficult pitchers, but reminds me a lot of a young Herb Berry, actually. Cole is nowhere near the majors. Sanchez is nowhere near the majors. I would love to see Willie Vasquez take a step forward, but we're probably reaching the point where you just have to accept that Harrington's going to be our catcher for 3 or 4 seasons and then just work around that. Because while Sean Reed is a perfectly viable backup, I don't trust him for more than that. So, yeah. Don't sleep on Sam Fields or Ryan Grammer. I think they're both really good players that, with a bit more playing time, could be even better. We'll see what happens, my friends. Many, many things are possible. Until next time, this has been Guardian. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing or liking the video, or both. And stay warm this weekend. And I'll see you in the next one. I bid you good day.